this past August 1st. I graduated with a double degree from De La Salle University and LaSalle. I graduated in business management and philosophy. So, minsan medyo philosopher ako. My favorite philosopher right now is Friedrich Nietzsche because he's who I'm reading. Usually my favorite philosopher is who I'm reading. My life's philosophy naman is simple living, higher thinking. I love to read. My favorite book is Peter Pan by Jane Berry, so the classic novel. My other hobbies include slow-mo, kickboxing, yoga, long-distance running, and surfing. And I'll share with you guys something that I don't tell most people. I am actually a first-degree black belt in Taekwondo. Thank you.
Questions from the judges?
Why Peter Pan?
Peter Pan because I am a huge Disney fanatic, and it was the first real story that I read. By real, I mean the original that I read from the Disney classics. And it was a game changer for me because if you've read it, it's quite dark. I cried. Every time I read it, I cry. And it was my first time, I was 14, I realized the metaphors of this world. And that Peter Pan, the Disney version, he likes to think that life is an adventure, every day is an adventure, everything is just so much fun. He's my crush. And then when I read the book, it was my epiphany that there's a lot of darkness actually in this world, even the imaginary world.
What do you think of what they call the Peter Pan complex? Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. Usually when I have a crush, she has that complex. And I think there's different types of Peter Pan complexes, whether it be the relationship between a male and his mother or the concept of never growing up. And I think it happens, of course, from your younger years. And it's just a mentality like any other mentality that once you realize I have this, you can either overcome it or you can choose to develop it more depending on your perspective. What do I think of Miss World, the organization itself? Actually, so I've done a lot of research on Miss World, and I admire the organization a lot because it is heavily advocacy based. And this is something that I feel like other organizations don't focus on because it might not be their priority. And because of this fact, that is why I thought, okay, this is quite perfect for me. All the cards have kind of aligned themselves. And my reason for joining pageantry is really the platform and the support that I'll receive, hopefully from the organization. And I believe that Miss World is that number one organization who will back me up if ever I do get to win 100%.
But my dear, you joined Binibini, right?
I did. And I'm here.
No, I mean, did you play?
Yes, I was the recent title holder of 2017 Miss Intercontinental.
You competed abroad.
I competed in Egypt as well.
How did you do there?
I placed first runner-up. First international pageant.
And you stayed, diba? You stayed 2 or 3 weeks after the pageant. Is it because you got jobs there or what?
I stayed because my flight was very early the next morning. I had 6 maletas and there's no way after what I went through I was gonna pack the 6 maletas by myself, carrying it to the airport thinking I was this close. And also because I really wanted to enjoy Egypt. The head of the resort invited me to stay for however long as I wanted, and I thought, you know what, sige nga, I'll rebook and I'll do a little bit of exploring, relax a bit. Yes, thank you.
Of course, we know that you were a title holder in Binibini Pilipinas, but there's 4 crowns now in Miss World. If you don't win Miss World, are you ready to accept the other crowns?
Since I competed in Egypt this past January, it has been my most recent dream to represent the Philippines again. This is my last opportunity to do that. And if there's anything I learned from competing in January, is what it truly means to be Filipino, and it is a beautiful thing. Because from the moment I arrived at Naiya, that day I left for Egypt, to the very moment I returned until today, I had every single Filipino, no matter where they were in this world, supporting me. If I had told them I miss Philippines, they extended two helping hands. And I get very overwhelmed at that thought. And when it first happened, it really brought me to tears because if anything, the Filipinos really know how to practice unity.
I have a last question. If ever, given the chance that you will be crowned as Miss Eco International, how would you react or would you accept it wholeheartedly?
Am I competing in Egypt?
For Miss representing the Philippines in Egypt for Miss Eco International
All over
again.
again. I love Egypt. I love Egyptian food. I love the culture. It would be like round 2 in Egypt.
Katarina,
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to admit that I'm a big pageant fan, and we've seen how well you represented the Philippines in that other pageant.
Thank you.
Are you joining Miss Philippines World to be given a chance to vindicate yourself from that outcome?
I'll tell you guys a little story. So, like most young ladies, I have this fascination with the moon. And when I was a little girl, my mom used to tell me I was about 10 years old, baby girl, reach for the moon. Because if ever you'll land among the stars, quite corny, I'm sure you guys have come across that quote. And I thought, being philosopher at 10 years old, you know what, I'll reach for the stars first, and then when I'm there, then I'll go for the moon. And I was 10 then. At 26, I can proudly say that I was able to reach for the stars. And I'm here now at 26, going and doing what I can to reach for the moon, or the world rather. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So that's applicant 6.